Welcome on into the Wild Willie Podcast Show. I'm Willie Cologne, and he is
JJ, baby. What's going on with your Big Willie? How was your weekend? Turn me on to what's been going on with your Big Willie.
Nothing much, Jay. Honestly, it's just me trying to fight through this holiday season like every parent, trying to figure out how much my wallet can withstand this long Santa list that I've received from my kids. My kids are now, they're 3 and 4. They know who Santa is, and they want a lot from Santa. And so they're writing a long list, and I'm just trying to, abide by the list. Before we get there, because I do want to talk about gift giving, I want to tap into the Belle Collective.
Yes.
This past episode was a lot. A lot had happened. As far as, Letitia's brunch, and then, as you walk through the door, there goes Selena. And the things kind of just get moving and shaking from there. You've watched the whole episode. Your response, and how do you feel with everything that's transpired thus far?
Big Willie, I was blindsided. You know how a man when a man crop block you got done it, and you don't know that lick coming. You in football, and all of a sudden you going for that tackle, and you just get hit from the blind side out of nowhere. You know how that feel, Big Willie?
I've been blindsided.
You've been blindsided before, Big Willie.
I've never been. Well, I have been chop blocked. When my days on the defensive line, I have been chop blocked. So I've felt it all. So I know what you mean.
I was like 4 flats on a Cadillac when I got done and went up there, Big Willie. You even said it on the show. You saw my expression, and the reason you saw my expression like that, Big Willie, is because I know, and I know y'all was up in there when we was up on the bus. I asked Letitia, is there anybody supposed to be here unexpectedly that we need to know about? And she said, not to her knowledge. Now, Big Willie, now, I'm looking at the show, man. I know we got to be looking at the same thing, Big Willie. How in the world you going to tell me and my wife so Gucci that you don't know nobody gonna be there that's unexpectedly that we don't know about? And I'm asking, is my ex? And you like, no, she's not supposed to be there. And then we looking at the show, Big Willie, and you sitting there saying that you got done and invited her to be your host. Now, Big Willie, there's a lot of lying going on Belle Collective some goddamn well. I mean, man, damn. It's all right, got done to lie a little bit, but damn, when they lie in your face like that, Big Willie, that's more than meet the eye there, Big Willie. I mean, I'm sitting here asking you, did you know? Is anybody gonna be there before I go put on my suit? And you saw I was clean as fish coochie, Big Willie. I was cleaning fish coochie. Got done. Big Willie, I had my red bottoms on, got done it. And that's the reason got done it. When I got dressed, if you notice, when we got ready to leave, after I saw my ex in there, who she said wasn't gonna be there, that you said you had to be the host because she's a people person, what you said. And I thought it would just be so great if she hosts my brunch and everything. She could have told us all that. I mean, come on now, Big Willie. My thing is, you bought in there, then you got a problem with us leaving. Now, that math ain't math. I'm just going to be honest with you, Big Willie. That math ain't math. So when we got ready to go, that's the reason I told her. And if you remember, I don't know if you caught it or not, I appreciate you inviting me so I can buy my suit, got done, and wear it for 10 minutes, got done to look nice. But now it's time to go.
Right. It was interesting. So the whole trip to New Orleans as a whole, for everybody that pays attention to the show and continues to support JJ and I and our wives on the show, the trip to New Orleans was a lot. So much happened on that bus that was never displayed. They didn't show it for whatever reason. There was so much dialogue. There was so much back and forth. There was a lot. You could have actually made 2 episodes solely from the bus, from our time from Mississippi to New Orleans. Even our time on the plantation, which was awesome. Even our tour guide, who I think got a lot of flack for being a white woman, which I thought was unfair because she was extremely empathetic. She showed a lot of knowledge. Yes. She was very kind to us and allowed us to really kind of embrace everything that happened on the plantation. To fast forward, I do think our time in New Orleans brought me and you together because one of the stories, one of my favorite moments during the show our time on the show, excuse me, was me and JJ. Once the camera crew kind of, they were forced to stay there 24 hours to kind of capture everything that we had going on. But JJ and I, man, I had a bottle of tequila. We were playing cards, and we stood up for about 3 or 4 hours. Even the film crew sat down with us, and we just talked, man. We just talked. We talked about life. I had a lot of football stories. We had a lot of we were just sharing our gems, man. And that's the tough part about reality TV. Sometimes the stuff behind the camera is so good, is so real, what you're trying to capture, that it gets left on the editing floor. And I was, it was crazy. We stood up till like 4 a.m, right? We stood up till like 4 a.m, and JJ and I was just talking and laughing loud. I was drinking and I was, playing cards, and we were just having a good time. And even to the point, I think we brought this up before, where I almost walked in on JJ.
You did walk in.
With his wife. Oh, I did walk in, right?
I said, Willie, you're in the wrong room. You asked me what the hell I'm doing in your room. I said, Willie, your room back here.
I stumbled into JJ's room while him and So Gucci were doing it, and it was pitch black, so I didn't see So Gucci, I didn't see JJ. I just heard JJ go, Big Willie, what you doing in my room? I'm like, what are you doing in my room? He was like, your room is behind me. And so I walked around his bed, through the bathroom into my room, where my wife was like, what the hell are you doing in So Gucci and JJ's room? And so that was just a funny moment, right? And so those are moments that were like, out of all the drama and everything that kind of transpired during that time in New Orleans, man.
Did Big Willie, didn't So Gucci catch you in a towel in the bathroom or something?
So Gucci caught me pissing. I don't know if she seen my penis or not. She probably did. Probably wasn't impressed. It's okay. We grew closer because of that. Nevertheless, man, so much transpired during that weekend. Even the scene at the bar where you read Glenn his rights, which was hysterical to me, because there's a part of where I think people's perception of JJ is kind of wacky, cool, fun, and then it's all the family drama. But they never see you really get after anybody. That was the first time I've been in a scene with you where you kind of like, well, hold up now, you bucked up. And I was like, all right, JJ, you got that fire in the belly. You had to do some straightening, which I thought was awesome, and it was cool. With all that said, as we push through the season, man, so much right now because of the show and its current condition, so much backlash is coming from each and every episode, right? When you look at everything that has happened up to right now, how do you feel like you and So Gucci are being portrayed? Is it are you in the right light, or is it a fair, or like where's your mindset behind? How do you feel about everything?
They know we got a court order on this. And for some reason, it just seems like they want to study, just try to put us in the room, not put us in the room, want to sneak us in the room with each other. It's a court order. Even Carlos acknowledged it. We knew it was a court order. And that's probably why they deleted the video when they did. So my thing is, if you knew it was a court order, we ain't supposed to be around. You ain't got to sit here and goddamn it act like you don't know she don't be around or whatever. And then So Gucci come to an event, and now all of a sudden goddamn she at that event. I specifically asked before the brunch of Letitia, is she gonna be there? If she had been there, then we would have had an opportunity to not go. But no, y'all want to force this up in the room with us being around each other. And that ain't right. So my thing, the bloggers get on there. The bloggers know who they is. They got down there talk on, our producer head, on his behalf as well. They get their opinion on what they think should have happened, and, try to take up for what they think he should have done, and then throw it back on us and say, if y'all don't want to be here, y'all didn't have to come, or y'all could have left the show or whatever. Hold on. It ain't that simple. The thing is, you didn't let us know. That's the situation. So my thing is, don't just sit here, and act like we knew, because we didn't. We come to a spot, and all of a sudden, if you look at some of the goddamn stories that we already did, some of the episodes, you'll see So Gucci sitting up in the room, and they nodding their head, and they exercising, they doing a little activity, and my ex sneak in behind her like, yeah, I'm here now, whatever the situation. You know what I'm saying? Look, petty stuff like that. You're playing with people's lives. That's number one. And then, if you want to goddamn to do a show, put on our own show, or put us on something different. Don't got done sit here and got done it. And then not that we had a choice. No, you have a choice. If you want on the show, bring her on, got done it at a different time than us. If you want us, got done the show, bring us on a different time for her. At least got done to acknowledge the court order. I don't know how to explain it no better than that.
Well, I think you laid it. You laid law. I think you just did it. And credit Nanos, which is a bar. What ward was that? I think it was the 9th ward. Where we was in New Orleans. Whatever it was, but they did a great
5th
job.
Ward, 9th Ward, something.
Mm-hmm. One of them wards. It's called Nanos. It was awesome. Thank you for the hospitality. The people were great. The service was great. All in all, JJ, I want to. We go to wrap soon, but I want to show you something. Because I want to get your thoughts on this.
You don't have to buy gifts for adults. They're grown. They have their own money, their own job. If they want a new blender, they can go buy it. They do not need you to go buy them slippers. Like, they can buy their own slippers.
This young lady who has a podcast talking about gift giving. We are in this season of gift giving where everybody who you love and appreciate is expecting a gift. She goes on. And I happened to dive into the comments to say, like, listen, if you're an adult, Christmas isn't for you. Christmas is for the kids. Once you reach a certain age, you have to understand it's about the memories. It's about the nostalgia of Christmas, being with people you love, on and on and on. JJ was somebody that has 3 beautiful daughters, a wife, and now 2 grandkids. How do you feel about this?
It's something it's funny you mentioned that, because So Gucci tell me all the time, and I get with So Gucci every year, and we be like, baby, we know everybody getting older. It's time for get these grandkids something now. But Big Willie, everybody have intentions of not, doing that. But when Christmas come around, man, it's more about giving, seeing smiles on people's faces, and just man, being up in the Christmas spirit. And it really don't matter how old a person get. It's just that thrill, man, knowing that you're doing something good for somebody, and them to just being able to open up that gift and that wrapping paper that you took so long to try to goddamn and make look perfect, which I love to see you wrap a goddamn present, Big Willie. I can imagine how it'll look.
I've done it.
Huh?
I've done it. I do it. I've done it and I do it. One of the reasons I threw this out to you, because a lot of people in the comments said, hey, times are hard, people on a budget. If you're an adult, it's not fair, I guess, or even you should acknowledge that if we're all going through it, you shouldn't expect it, right? But for the kids, if you have something to give the kids, because it's ultimately about them. Then there was others in the comments saying, if you broke, just say it, right? That was one of the comments. If you broke, just say you broke. But I think I would love to get to the point in Christmas where we ignore the gifts. Like me and my wife, sometimes we exchange gifts, sometimes we don't. My outside, like my sister, my brother, and my cousins, everybody, we don't really do gifts. It's really about us coming together as one during the family time, laughing and having food and yada yada yada. They really like to buy the kids gifts. And I'm not, so maybe you understand this. One of the reasons I kind of got a nasty taste in my mouth for Christmas, and it had nothing to do with religion, it was because I found myself buying all these elaborate, amazing gifts. On the other end, I found people not really going as hard to get me the best gift. But then I feel guilty because maybe that's all they can afford. So I hate kind of having that seesaw mindset, like, man, I shouldn't judge the gift, but I'm also like, damn, I don't like this, right? So why would you go out and buy that? And I just hate feeling awkward. I hate feeling like I'm not grateful. I hate feeling like, whatever. So I'm just like, don't get Willie anything. I'm a grown man. Whatever I need, whatever I want, I'll get it for myself. And that's what the lady in the video is saying. Like, hey, if you're an adult and you really want something, work. Use your money, buy it, and enjoy it yourself, right? And my mother-in-law, who I love, who is very well off, JJ, very well off, right? She's the worst gift giver,
really,
in American history. Yes.
Come on, Big Willie. I know she can't be the one goddamn it that sit there goddamn it and go out there and buy you goddamn it one of these one of these big old bathrobes or pajamas got done that you never wear, or something, a big old t-shirt that you never put on, or one of them ugly sweaters you just ain't gonna wear.
JJ, I love my mother.
Yes, sir.
She's an awesome woman.
Yeah.
Awesome. Full of knowledge, has pretty much seen every sea in the world. She's well-traveled, amazing, has done amazing things in her life. She's also a hoarder.
Yes.
Right? So when you're a hoarder, you necessarily don't spend on other people. You only spend on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes Christmas time, what she does is whatever she's hoarding, she'll go into her treasure chest or whatever she keeps her stuff, and she'll be like, oh, William likes this coffee mug full of chocolates.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Or I have these socks that I got from a goddamn gift shop in Taiwan. Oh, Merry Christmas. She would never go. She doesn't go out and really purchase anything. She just goes to her wherever she hoards and grabs gifts and hands them out. You know what the problem is with that, JJ?
What's that?
Some of that stuff is old as shit, beat up, dusty.
Big Willie, she figured a man like you can restore it and bring it back to new.
She's like, this is a chess set from 1985, Will. Here, Merry Christmas. And I'm like, hey, thank you. Thank you. So I'm at the point where I tell her, don't give me any gifts. Don't give me any gifts. We're fine. I love you. I'd rather hug you. Merry Christmas. Let's eat. Let's have some cake. Let's laugh. Let's play games. That's your gift to me. Right?
But you know what on that though, Big Willie? You know what? Me and your situation is kind of like, I think it's so much, we like doing so much for other people that we don't feel like we need nothing. We good. We just happy with
That's
just
fair.
being family. People seeing smiles, seeing our children, our wives, and everybody happy. And that's enough for me and you. You know what I'm saying?
But I also, so let me say this, and I don't mean to cut you off. I agree. I think you're 100% right. Watching everybody else smile and happy makes me happy. I'm 100% with you. However, I do feel if you are my family and you've known me since I've been a baby, or you've been around me long enough to know who I am and what I like, and you take a short approach to my heart, and like it's on you, because I would honestly prefer you not give me anything. And I hate to say that because it feels like, damn, Willie, maybe that's all they have. And I'm like, I get that. Well, that's all you have. Preserve your wallet and we'll be good. But if you don't come with your best, because I'm coming with my best, I feel shortchanged. And I hate feeling like, oh, that's it, because it makes me feel like I'm unselfish. Well, then it's it's the gift that counts, Willie. Yeah, right? But if I go out and buy you a $1,200 pair of shoes or a nice this or nice that, and you come back with like, a slushy maker, and I'm just like, So that's why I hate Christmas. I hate the mental gymnastics I go through. I hate this world of emotions when I say I love it, but I really don't. I just hate it all. I don't like it. And ultimately, Christmas shouldn't be about the gifts. It should be about spending it with the people you love.
Don't be the Grinch, Big Willie. Don't be the Grinch, Big Willie.
I know. And I try
you do got
my
on
best.
green too, Big Willie. Don't be the Grinch.
Jay, you're right.
Yes.
I don't want to be the Grinch.
Exactly.
I try my best. And I just don't know. I don't know. So I go through a world of emotions because I know people don't have it. Times are rough for some people. People are on a budget. And if you fall in those requirements, then don't get me gifts. Let's just love each other. Let's just support each other. So I'm not going to get you nothing. You don't get me nothing. And we Gucci. Gucci. So
one thing I want to say with that, for all the ones out there that on a budget, one thing I want to bring to you is not what you can get for a person. It's the thought that counts. So my thing is, if you got family out there and grown-ups, you ain't got to go and buy every grown-up a gift. You just keep it among your immediate family. Christmas coming up. You on a budget. You don't wait till December, to start purchasing gifts. You can start in July if you need to. And you have it up in the closet in the back somewhere, because it's a nice gift. And you say, well, I need to get this. I could get these for Christmas. And you can stock up way ahead of time. I mean, think about it, Big Willie. If we could stock up when a big storm is coming, or some type of goddamn weather destruction or something about to happen with a recession, Big Willie, we can stock up goddamn for Christmas. Or do like our grandmama, get everybody a fruit and nut basket. You know about that, Big Willie? You go over your grandmama's house, we looking for toys or some shoes or some clothes, and you don't get none but them there apple, bananas, oranges, and some pecans.
You silly. Hey, we're going to take a break. Come on back to the Wild Willie Podcast Show. What's going on, everybody? I'm super excited to have Mignon on from BET Sistas, Season 8, going down right now. Mignon is a filmmaker, director, writer, and not only an amazing actress, but she also has a podcast called The Orbital Tribe, which is breaking ground. She covers wellness, mind, body, and spirit. I'm going to take a deep dive into everything she has going on. Let's get right to it. What's going on, everybody? We have Mignon on from Sistas, the super talented actor, writer, and director. Mignon, welcome to the show. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending a little time with me.
Thanks for having me.
First thing I found out about you was your awesome podcast series, The Orbital Tribe, which is right over your head for the people to see. The first episode I saw was Becoming Fearless. And I swear to God, I felt like as you were talking, you grabbed my face and was like, I'm talking to you, Willie. Man, I know I'm being a little dramatic here, but I sat there next to my wife and I'm listening to this and I'm going on, and you do a great job of swerving in and out between scripture and own personal experience, and you're vulnerable and you're honest and you're open and you're giving direction. I can't tell you, man. Like, I honestly thought it was like a therapy. I'm like, this is super cathartic. Like, I'm outside of trying to investigate you and everything you have going on, I was listening to everything you had to say. What inspired you to kind of create this podcast?
It's not this like sweeping. Honestly, it's, I was doing little snippets on Instagram, and like some of my faithful followers, fans who, how some people you just vibe with, were just like, man, are you going to do a book? And I was like, I don't know if I feel like writing a book. And then I had some people say, you need to do a podcast. I was like, everybody got a podcast. I don't need to do one. And I was like, there's too many people with microphones. And so I just didn't feel the need to do one. And then I was sleeping one night, and you know how sometimes you wake up like in those wee hours and you can kind of hear that divine guidance. And like, it was just so funny. It was like, sometimes like God can be very conversational and practical. And it didn't feel like a threat, but it just felt like the question was, if you're not going to do what I want you to do, then why are you here? And like, being God fearing, I was like, whoop. Like, like it was just that reminder that at any time God can do whatever he wants with you. However, it also reminded me of his grace and that he's a gentleman and he gives us free will. And so it really wasn't like a threat. It was just like, he was like, what do you need to be here for if you don't want to do what I'm asking you to do? And so that was like, okay, let me start looking up microphones. And like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like, yeah, like, if you're not going to be fit for, there's that scripture that talks about vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor. And it's honestly, our choices dictate whether or not you're going to be a vessel of honor or a vessel of dishonor. So I was like, well, if I'm going to be used, let me be used honorably. So just start the podcast, girl.
With the inspiration to do the podcast, is there a part of you that feels like, man, this can get bigger than what I expect? Like, is there some aspect of you like, man, this is going to grow into something, because the people are calling for more and they don't want you to stop?
Right. Yeah, I don't plan to stop, because I look at it as it's not about me. You know what I mean? Like, my podcast is still getting off the ground, like the way every other podcast is starting off. And I mean, to be completely vulnerable, I thought that, it'll probably do super duper well, being that, the show is this and that. And that's not necessarily true. Like my podcast is still going through growing pains just like anyone else's would.
Mm.
And so I love that because do not despise the day of small beginnings still applies to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like and then also just like being in the industry, like fans love the show, but the industry doesn't always give us our flowers. You know what I mean? Like that's just, I mean, like I don't want to sound whatever, but it's just the truth. Like it's Black women on a Black show on a Black network. That's blackety black, black, black. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Where do we fit in? The whites, the Asians, the Spanish.
Well, I mean that, but I mean even other Black people. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like we oftentimes look for the validation and that stamp of verification from non-Black audiences, but I still have to go through growing pains like everyone else, and I still have to be the beginner and be the amateur like everyone else. So yeah, the podcast isn't going to go anywhere. I guess it's my ministry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like storytelling is as well, but it's not something I planned on doing. I was going to do a book in my life at some point, like do like a cute little, so I mean, the podcast could transition to a book or something like that. But I mean, honestly, I think, like I said, like that conversation that I had with God in the wee hours, it's like, it's just a realization that I need to just get on board with whatever his plans are. Because at the end of the day, it's either you believe he's good or you don't. And then he has good plans for you.
Why acting? Why acting? I feel as I look at you, there's nothing you can't do. I think that there's, I'm somebody who's been reading about you, and obviously I watched the show, and I'm saying to myself, like, man, why acting? I feel like you can wear so many hats, and it's not that you don't already, but why acting for Mignon?
So, if I'm being honest, it's another one of those things where it was like a download. I was watching Muppet Babies.
Yes.
And it was the cartoon, because I'm a 90s baby, so it was the cartoon one. It wasn't the 70s, Jim Henson 80s. But I still watched old school Muppets, but it was the cartoon one from the 90s. Yeah, the cartoon one from the 90s. And you know how there's like the opening credits, and Miss Piggy is like an actress, and it shows her world. And I just remember watching it like 2-3 years old, and it was just like, oh, that's what I do. It was just this knowing. And I tried to get away from it. I tried to get away from it, but I thought I was going to be a marine biologist. I thought I was going to major in psychology. I thought I was going to do all those things, but there was always like this magnetic pull. And I remember being kind of like, all right, well, I'll start behind the camera. And if I want to put myself in something, then I'll do that. And God was like, that's cute. Right. Like, so that's, yeah. So it was like, it's something I've literally been called to. Like it wasn't like I was like a teenager and watching like a movie and thought, oh, it'd be cool to be an actor. It was just like a knowing, like, oh, and it wasn't like, oh, that's who I want to be. It was like, that's what I do. And so I tried to get away from it, but I got redirected back.
I want to pivot, obviously, to Sistas. How did the motivation, or where did the motivation come from, to play Danni? And was you fearful of the role? Was there anything about the role that said, I don't know if I could do this?
On paper, she read as hood.
like bamboo earrings, lollipop in the mouth, like...
Because one thing TP is going to do is give you an archetype so that you kind of know what you're dealing with, right? In his movies, there's going to be the rich bougie auntie. There's going to be the inappropriate uncle, because we all know these people. And so Danni read as hood. And I said, I can be in the neighborhood. Like, I can be hood adjacent. And I also knew, I said, if they cast me, he wants something different. He wanted someone who would read between the lines. And that's what I did, because I mean, the sides that I was given, I was actually, I was like, oh gosh, why does she, it's that episode 1 where she's going off on Zach for potentially cheating on Karen. And I was like, I get that you care about your homegirl, but like, this seems like a lot. And then I realized that, oh, this is because if they break up, she can't be friends with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And she has always had a thing for him. And the only way she can have him in her life is as a friend. But if he breaks up with Karen, then I can't have you in my life at all. And so it was funny when I get the part and I see that that was actually the storyline. I was like, whoa, like this really was for me, because, you know, there was this level of just like knowing, because I did that in my own life. Like when I was in high school, there was this guy that I was obsessed with.
Like, what do you mean?
I wouldn't say obsessed with, but I was in love with him. And at least is what I thought. And and I did not feel, you know, worthy like any other middle schooler, high schooler. And so my excuse to talk to him was hooking him up with my best friend. And so I drew from that. And then that's what my character, I was like, oh, so this is like a common thing. Like, I'm not the only masochist out there. Yeah. So, I mean, I just think with the character, it was about finding parts of me, like the story I just told you, in her. And Meryl Streep, I've said this in interviews before, but Meryl Streep and Viola Davis were just talking about how you're an advocate for your character. And so the way I see Danni is I kind of lend myself to her so that she can use my voice, my body, my experience, my whatever as the way to defend her and advocate for her. So it's like, you know, instead of me defending you in a court of law, I will stand as you, if that makes any sense at all.
One of the things you do on the show, and you're one of my favorites. I'm not saying that because we're talking right now. You tend to call out the elephant in the room. You tend to kind of, if the air, you know, is kind of getting stifled, you're going to crack the window so we all can kind of release there. Where does that come from? Because when I do see, I was like, this, you know, Mignon could be on a rom-com. Like, I can see her dominating. I can see her doing those things. Where does that comedic element come from?
I mean, that's another thing. I've always been funny, I guess. Like, me and my brother, growing up, I was closest with my big brother. And we just were so stupid. Like, we just so dumb. Like, but also, I have to give my parents credit for not being those traditional Christian parents that like censored us from everything. I was watching Comic View at 6. Like, how long was Comic View on? Like, I was born in the 90s. So I was watching Comic View at an inappropriate age. Very inappropriate. Like, I
was going to say, I think most kids are like that, right? To some degree. Not all kids, maybe not all the kids you hung up, but kids in my class, we would at recess, it'd be like, man, did you see Martin? You know, or did you see Def Comedy Jam? And say stupid things like Shucky Ducky and all that other stuff, and laugh about it.
Well, I mean, a lot of us had irresponsible parents. Like, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, we just, our parents let us watch. Like, I think that shaped me. Like, watching Comic View at 6, 7 years old and understanding what was funny and like picking up on like what was being laughed at and what people found funny and what got the biggest laughs. And then even in high school, when everyone was at the football game or making out in the movie theater, I was watching Friday Night Stand-Up on Comedy Central. So like my tutor, because I remember when I was at a, you know, kind of like this, like just that fever pitch, like that point where it's like do or die, like, girl, we can't keep doing this. Like, you either gonna make it or you're not. I remember thinking like, okay, maybe I should go to Yale Drama School. You know, that's where they found Lupita, and she got an Oscar soon as she came out of there. Yeah. You know, like
David Allen
Juilliard. Yeah, Juilliard. That's where, you know, Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac and Viola. Maybe I just need to go and do like one of these conservatories. And again, another download. God was like, you remember all those independent movies you would watch over the summer? You remember like staying home and watching Friday night stand up and genuinely being more interested in that than being outside, and just all the TV. That was your tutelage. That was your conservatory. That was your preparation. And if you ask anyone who's been around, they'll tell you need to go watch the classics. You need to watch the greats. And obviously Common View had so many great stand-ups that we revere to this day. So, I would say, both of my parents are funny, witty people, but also being a kid and inappropriately watching certain shows.
I imagine, I guess, auditioning for the great Tyler Perry could be extremely intimidating. How was that process for you?
I had gone through so much.
So much.
By the time that audition came, I had the confidence that could only come from going through the gauntlet of life. So it's just funny, like how the scripture says that all things work together for your good. You don't understand why you're suffering when you're suffering. But I look back on the suffering and the spiritual gauntlet I went through. It was so that when I walked into that room, I could transmute nervousness to excitement rather than being intimidated and afraid and choking. It was like, I'm gonna do the best I can. And if it's for me, it's for me. If it's not, it's not. And so I was just excited to be there. And of course I was like, that's, but it was more excitement than it was, I'm nervous, It was like, I can do this. And if they don't want it, they don't want it. And like I said, if they choose me, it's because they wanted something different. So it was just quick PSA. Everything you're going through is preparing you for where you're going. So don't shun the process. Don't shun it.
Your castmates, one of them in particular, I played college football with. His name is DeVal Ellis.
I thought you knew Anthony, but I guess you know both. Okay.
I do know both. So Anthony worked on a project with my wife. DeVal and I are closer. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx. We both went to Hofstra and played together and both went into the NFL. He went to Detroit and I obviously went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, on and on and on. When I see you two together, and particularly you guys come across like brother and sister. Yeah. And you obviously have a great personality. He has a very, bombastic, loud, and fun personality. Off camera, who's the most, who do you gel with the most? As far as I can go vacation and have drinks with this person the most out of everybody.
You know what's funny? In the beginning, it was very brother and sister with DeVal and I, and it still is. But I've gone on the most trips with Novi, gone on a few, maybe just one with KJ. Ebony and I are still trying to nail ours down. So we all hang out. Like me and Brian have had like random 101s in North Hollywood, and we all gel really well. It's just, we're so lucky. I don't know how this happened, but
when I've been out with celebrities and the fans and the people of the show only see the character, right? They don't see the individual. How has that impacted your life?
It was tough. I didn't do the math on it.
What does that mean?
I didn't do the math on it. I like Anthony said this to us after we had already started the show. He said, you can't unring this bell, and you remember, I can't remember the actor's name. I have a lot of respect for him. He was on the Cosby Show. You remember that TikTok went viral of him, ringing up groceries at Trader Joe's.
Oh, Jeffrey Owens?
Yeah, Tyler gave him a gig after seeing that video. But and thank God it worked out. And no offense to this person, because I think we as a society, we don't have an etiquette for this yet. Because we've had celebrities since the early 1900s and the beginning of film, but we never had celebrities in a social media age, right? And that's one of the things that people like Cameron Diaz and Snoop Dogg and all of them talk about. They talk about being young and dumb before there were camera phones, and how they were able to kind of be human and kind of make mistakes, whereas now you gotta be on it, dog on it, as soon as you walk out the door. Like, because there are camera phones everywhere. And so we don't have an etiquette yet. But like, just imagine him, like, I remember looking at the video, and I love how laser focused he was. But like, why are you holding a camera up to someone's face as they're doing their job? Like, did you ask permission?
Mm-hmm.
But because you recognize him from TV, you just gave yourself permission to do this. But again, all things work together for your good. It kind of, revitalized some opportunities for him. But like, I mean, we don't always remember to treat people as people. And so I didn't do the math on it. I'm introverted. And so being introverted makes it really weird sometimes, like, because like people really forget their manners and will touch you and follow you. And it's like, everyone has been sweet though. No one has been nasty or mean, but there have been some weird things where I'm like, oh, but.
Before I let you go, tell me about this awesome Christmas movie you made that seems to be kicking a lot of butt.
Yeah, we shot it in Shreveport. Like, I want to say it was Christmas 2022. Like, we wrapped December 23rd. It was intense. Shreveport was a film town before Louisiana lost its tax credit. So, the tax credit left. And then, of course, COVID happened. And they were hit pretty hard by it. So our film was one of the first films back to Shreveport. So, and it was cool because we got to go to Nacogdoches. I'm going to lose my Louisiana card for this, but it's New Orleans anyway, 504, whatever. But Nacogdoches is one of those words, but we filmed there for the French Quarter scenes because Shreveport is basically Texas. Like, it's not really. Like, it's not Louisiana like that. Shout out to Shreveport, but it's like, y'all not Louisiana like that. Y'all Texas. Right. Like it was, I call it the little film that could, because like, again, Shreveport was still coming back, and we were filming at Christmas time, and everybody was there because they love the art of film, and everyone was working hard and wanting to be in the holiday spirit, but they're on a film set. It was cold. This one little old couple tried to shut us down, like the last day of filming. Yeah, it was like trying to like call the police and have your permit fake. And it was Dixieland or whatever, Dixieland, Louisiana. I'm like, she started literally questioning, like, we're on our marks. They're about to call action. Me and my co-star, she starts questioning us. I'm like, like, if y'all don't, like, what did you think we were doing? Right. So I ran to the van, but yeah, it was, but it's about, I guess what it's about. Yes. It's about this really awkward, cute, Black nerd couple that find each other because they're alone on Christmas, and they get together really quickly, and then their relationship is tested from within and from outside too.
Oh, look at you. Look at you doing the damn thing. I got to let you go, and I will. First of all, thank you. Seriously. I think you're awesome. You're obviously a doll, super talented. I'm excited to see what you have next in the pipeline. But as I say that, can you tell the people and me what's next for you? What else is going on in Mignon's world?
So I was trying to get something in the can for y'all this year, but these strikes, man, have really made things complicated. It really has. So we're kind of back to the drawing board. Like, we were this close to our start date, but we had to kind of roll it back and go back to the drawing board to see how we can make it make sense for what's going on in the industry. So look for a feature film soon. But season 2 of the Orbital Tribe will be back. Yeah, it'll be back early next year to spring. I would say spring. So we're still trying to figure out our premiere date. But yeah, so season 2 of the Orbital Tribe, we will be back, and a feature film coming soon. So thank you for asking.
No, thank you. You're awesome. I can't wait to see season 2.
Likewise.
Season 1, I mean, Becoming Fearless grabbed me by my hair. I was like, I'm talking to you, Willie. So I think that's awesome. Blessings to you and everything you got going on.
Likewise.
You are somebody who I continue to watch and like, man, she gets it, right? She lives in her truth. She gives all praise to God and she moves forward. And I think that's awesome. So thank you for being on the Why Willie podcast show.
Thank you for having me. You're a really great interviewer. Like,
oh,
you asked
thank you.
good questions. It was fun. It's so much fun.
Let's do it again, Sue. Best of luck.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
Thank you to Mignon from Sistas. Awesome, delightful. She was amazing. I can't wait to potentially be on her podcast. Check it out once again, the Orbital Tribe. She does an amazing job on Sistas. She also has a great podcast, and she really delivered, man. I really felt good about that conversation. I can't wait to see what else she has in store. JJ, it's time to get out of here. You want to tell anything? You want to tell the people anything you got going on that they should look out for?
Well, Big Willie, we had a great week this past week because it was So Gucci's birthday, and we celebrated.
Oh, happy birthday, So Gucci!
And we celebrated at this. It's called an Igloo Dining, and man, it was real nice. Man, we had a great time. We was on the outside in a basically like a clear igloo bubble. Man, had the fireplace inside, food. And man, I must say it was different and it was amazing. And we also had a chance to make one of the biggest attorneys Christmas party events that he threw this past weekend with the Johnny Cochran firm. And man, when I tell you everything was a blast this weekend, including JSU got done at winning the SWAC championship. Going to the Celebration Bowl, baby. Yes, got done it. They did the thing. We was all at that right there.
Yes, once again, congratulations to TC and Jackson State University. They will be playing in the Celebration Bowl against South Carolina State this Saturday, and we all Jackson State on this side, so we'll be pulling for the boys to come home with the Celebration Bowl trophy. We had TC on earlier in the summer, and he was great, man. He was an awesome interview, one of our biggest shows we've had. With all that said, it is gala season for Akeisha and I. So if you're following us on social media, we're wearing a lot of tuxes and fancy dresses, and we're just appreciating the season. So we went to the Lynx Gala. I was honored by St. Barnabas Hospital for all my community work Akeisha and I do in the Bronx, and we're just trying to do our part. I tell you time after time, JJ, it's not about thinking about it. It's about doing.
Exactly.
And so we're in the season of doing. And so thank you, God, and his grace for allowing us to do. We're going to get out of here. Get out your ear. Once again, thank you to Mignon. Thank you to our beautiful producer, Brittany Smith, who continues to be the backbone of this podcast. Thank you to everybody out there. If you want to leave a comment or you have anything to say, please do it, and we'll be sure to reply back. I'm Willie Cologne, and here's
Jay, baby, and I hope you get them Christmas gifts ready. Don't be like Big Willie and be a late shopper, baby. Get your gifts now.
Peace.